Ligue A, Group 1, and the Netherlands in Rotterdam beating France, defending World Cup champions 2-0. Jorginho Wijnaldum a goal, and then a late one from the penalty spot via Memphis Depay. That result means Germany will be relegated and still a battle for the top spot in Group 1. For more context on this, let's go out to Julien Laurent. Jules, what's been the reaction in France to this defeat?
Quite shocking, to be fair. I think it was a very bad night for the French. They showed no desire. They showed no fighting spirit, no team spirit either. Like Didier Deschamps said after the game, they were far too comfortable, and it was one of the flattest, poorest performances that we've seen in a very long time. It's one thing that there were some players out for this game, and some big ones like Lucas Hernandez, like Umtiti, like Pogba, and more as well on that list. But for the players to play the way they did, for Deschamps to get pretty much every single choice wrong, I mean, for Moussa Sissoko to even come on in this game is just, I find it completely ridiculous. And I think from start to finish, it was just bad. And you also need to give credit to the Dutch because I thought they were outstanding tonight.
Craig, I'll start with you. What did you make of the match? You agree with Jules?
Yeah, I think it looked to me as if the French, and they've got a lot in the bank, they've just won the World Cup, you know, but it looked to me like the French were not bothered. You know, the Nations League is, you know, we don't need the parachute, and they can still finish top. You know, it depends what happens in the next game between Germany and the Netherlands. But it was almost like, well, we're not really too bothered about this parachute we'll get from winning the group, i.e. the playoff, if it's a disaster in the qualifying, because, you know, we're probably going to qualify, which they probably are. But that seemed to me to be the kind of mindset tonight. It was like, well, it doesn't really matter. When indeed it does for some teams, because if you have a disaster in the qualifying, then the Nation League is giving you another way to sneak in through the back door. But the big thing I've noticed is that since not getting to the Euros in 2016 and not getting to the World Cup in 2018, you cannot deny the Dutch, whilst far from the finished article, are certainly heading in the right direction.
I think that's the big difference between the two. One of these teams quite clearly had something to play for. Look, France are defending world champions, so you kind of understand if they take their foot off the gas, and this competition isn't as important to them as it is to others. But given the feelings we've seen from the Dutch, and also given the improvements we've seen by the Dutch under Ronald Koeman, I thought it was a fantastic performance on their part. And let's be honest, the Dutch limited France to a header from Griezmann, which was easily saved, and a shot from Mbappe from 20 yards that he missed by 20 yards. Other than that, all the stories here about the Dutch players, from Van Dijk at the back and continuing to show exactly how good a player he is, his leadership qualities, De Ligt, who had a one-on-one with Mbappe and showed his own kind of composure and pace against that kind of talent, to everybody else going up front, to Memphis Depay with the kind of statement ending with the Panenka penalty. This was an incredible performance, start to finish, and a deserving win for the Dutch.
Now, we're paraphrasing as best we responsibly can. He got the elbow. I killed him. Aha, aha. 3-2. And you just keep talking at the press conference, dude. They, Spain, are just blank. A word that we won't say here on television just to keep everybody employed. All right, so Dejan Lovren having a go at Sergio Ramos. Boy, if there was ever a segment that screamed for Stevie Nickel, it seems like this
we'll get him in. I've got him on hot dial here.
Do you?
But hold on, we watched the game yesterday. He didn't elbow him in the game, did he?
I don't remember.
Maybe he thought he did.
What the hell is he talking about?
I don't get this. I don't get the social media bragging after a game. I don't get what it is Dejan Lovren seems to have with Sergio Ramos.
You don't get what a Liverpool player might have against Sergio Ramos?
I don't know what it has to do with this game, Croatia-Spain, what, 4 months after the Champions League final? I mean, it all started with Dejan Lovren comparing himself to Sergio Ramos and announcing himself as the best centre-back in Europe when he's not even the best centre-back in Liverpool. Let's be honest here. Why? Maybe it's a sign of the times. Maybe it's modern-day football and technology and that overlap. But I don't get this going on social media to make these statements. I don't know, and I never will.
it really comes across as some sort of envy and resentment that a guy like Sergio Ramos gets all the accolades and headlines and trophies, and essentially what Dejan Lovren is saying, this guy's not that good. This guy's overrated. I'm better than this guy. Now, if I had played at Real Madrid, the mistake that I have made at Liverpool would go unnoticed because it is Real Madrid and they would be winning games 5-1, 5-2. This is part of what he's talking about. Now, in the bigger picture, is Dejan Lovren Franz Beckenbauer? Did I miss? Is there?
According to him,
well,
yes.
But you have to be very sure about yourself and have short-term memory to not recognize the mistakes that you have made in the past that, oh, by the way, haven't guaranteed a starting position for you at Liverpool in the past. There's moments where a guy like Ragnar Klavan was preferred to Dejan Lovren. So this is the sort of player that Lovren has been. Now, he has improved over the last year or so, but he is not at the level, historically speaking, and in terms of achievement, that Sergio Ramos has been at.
The more that he goes on social media and touts other hugely successful players, he does nothing but make himself come across as a plank.
Germany will be relegated to League B. Joachim Low has come out and said he will accept it. Kimmich has come out and said it would be a blow to an ego. Does relegation here matter, specifically to Germany, just specifically to this German team where they are with their program?
Well, I mean, from a pride perspective, yes.
Coming off the World Cup, all these other things. I mean, isn't there... You can't look at it in a vacuum, can you?
But I think the one thing it does do when the Nations League comes round again, obviously there's the profile of the games are going to be a lot less. I mean, this has been a great group for profile, a bit like the England, Croatia and Spain group. We got France, Germany and a resurgent Dutch. That's not going to be the case. So they'll go into a Group B. They'll probably just wipe the floor with all the other teams and they'll be back up. So it's a blow to their ego. What damage it's doing to Yogi Löw, I don't really know. He seems to just be flying under the radar at the moment.
And that's the thing. It's all how he spins this. Now, Jogi Löw, in my opinion, fortunate to still be Germany manager after what we saw of them in the summer. Then you follow it up with this, and you can't help but feel that if that failure in the World Cup wasn't enough, wasn't an embarrassment enough to see the German FA act, then this isn't. Because ultimately, this is not what counts. Germany will be judged on when qualifiers come around for the Euros. And that's how Jogi Löw will have to spin it. I think he also has a little bit of luxury in the fact that there isn't really a replacement ready for him just yet. But then at the same time, you maybe thought exactly the same post-Jürgen Klinsmann. Did
you just say that Jogi Löw said that he would accept it?
Yes, I believe that was the word.
What's the other option?
Yeah, right.
I mean, what else is he going to do? And I do think that there should be, at the very least, some introspection here by Jogi Löw and by the national team and by the German players individually as a group in saying, where do we belong? None of us would have sat here and said, yeah, the Germans are going to be relegated. Even after what was a very disappointing World Cup. League A should be synonym to what the German national team has been historically. And yet, it's not the case. So there is something to look at and to say, we have to improve. We have to improve. We have to get younger, better, quicker, and stronger now, as opposed to let's wait to qualifiers and see what happens then.
It's not finishing bottom of the league that might kill them because they're already at the bottom. Yeah. But if they've got 1 point at the moment. If the Dutch go there to Germany and play like they did against France, and they have another bad evening, and the Dutch beat them by a couple of goals in Germany, that could be the final nail in the coffin. It might be. I don't know. It just seems to be maybe the replacement issue isn't there. That could be the thing that saves them. But if the Dutch go into Germany and give them a bit of a pasting, and it looks more possible now than it did at the start of this competition, then the German FA can't just go away and say, oh, well, we'll be all right when the qualifiers come round. Because that will show then that there seriously is a problem.
Should U.S. fans be unhappy that Tata is not going to end up being the guy? And not only that he's going to the chief rival.
Yes, 100%. I mean, this is, you have we've talked about Tata Martino and how good he's been for Atlanta United, but when you look at the type of players that the U.S. men's national team has and the systems they can employ, they're not going to play like Barcelona, but I'll tell you who, and you said this many times, Who did he have? Paraguay. And he made Paraguay a very difficult team to play against. You can be a team like Paraguay. Tata Martino knows how to start a program, take it to the brink, do good things with good players, young players. It's an opportunity lost for the Americans.
I would not be upset that Tata Martino has gone on and taken the Mexican national team as a U.S. fan if Tata Martino at least had gone through the process of being in consideration for the U.S. men's national team job. But when a guy with this sort of credentials and this sort of experience doesn't even warrant an interview,
then who does?
Then that's when you have to ask questions.
Yep.
Then you have to question what the process has been like, and are we getting to the right candidate? Have we gone through the steps in order to get to the right candidate? This guy could potentially be the right candidate, but we won't know.
Maybe the US have done him a favor.
You think so?
Tata? He may second guess that when he meets the Mexican press, but
well, it can be any. I mean, look, I know the Mexican press is a difficult one, but coaching for Argentina, coaching for Barcelona, I think he's been in a hot kitchen before. He knows what that feels like.
The fact that he's come in here to a new franchise, and I mean, he's a very experienced coach, of course he is. But the fact he's come in and they've been so good, and it's been such a great story, and they don't speak to him. Is it? I mean, is this because of the language barrier again and all this sort of nonsense?
That's been floated, but they've also not talked to guys who speak English perfectly well.
Bob Bradley, Peter Vermees, Jesse Marsh, the list goes on and on. So if you haven't spoken to these top candidates that we would assume were top candidates, who have you spoken to?
Yeah, you mentioned the process. I think the reality is there wasn't a process. There was not a real process here.
And that's disappointing because, let me tell you, I hate to break the news, but they've had plenty of time.
Right.
They have plenty. Yes, I think so.
Oh,
a year.
We still got time.
I don't really need you to analyze the match, but just as a former U.S. international, how do you feel about the talent level given what we saw the other day at Wembley?
Well, what was this? England's B-C team that they were playing against? Not their A team, and it was abysmal. They couldn't get out of their own half. Bobby Wood was on an island. He was trying to fight for whatever he could. You couldn't connect passes. It's the same old problems. Villalfaña, anytime he gets matched up for pace, he's going to get burned. The two center backs and the lack of communication. It was the central pairing. Who's it going to be? Will Trapp clearly isn't that man. It wasn't his fault this day. It's just more of what we've seen. Tim Weah, about 35 minutes in, I didn't know he was playing. I didn't know he was playing. Christian Pulisic's our great American hope. Didn't seem like that. It seems like there are a lot of individuals right now and no guidance. And you could talk about talent that may be there in the future, but until that guidance is there, until they know what they're playing for, until there's a system in place, a man at the helm, it's all for naught. So as a former international player for the U.S. men's national team, I feel bad for these guys because for as much individual talent, and I don't think it's much right now, as they could have, it's gone to waste this last year.
You're in a very bombastic mood. I've travelled the Atlantic to sit next to you, and I'm beginning to regret it.
I've told you about not touching me.
There's not a coach on the planet, dead or alive, who could coach this mob into winning again.
The dead side of it's pretty difficult, but...
Well, we have to tell the difference the way the team plays.
Your power rankings, of course.
Number 10.
There's some music again.
What a weird dance.
Just excited, that's my happy dance.
Hello, FC, you can put some of the show on the Twitter account.
You're most welcome.
What's the most important thing when you're picking these?
To ignore you as much as it possibly can.
Can you please educate me, because I have no idea what that is.
We don't have to pay tax in Monaco.
That's not true, Dan.
Oh, no.
it's not. Dan.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, go on, Gav. Go on.
Is VAR imminently coming to the Premier League?
They're ramping it up behind the scenes. I think it has to come in next season.
But it's embarrassing. Every weekend we saw in the Southampton game, we've seen the Chelsea.
Listen, it's not John's fault.
Well, no, but John, I feel, is like defending it.
No, he's not. He's just answering your question.
Don't get angry.
I find it very difficult not to with him. I really do.
Just let it go.
Okay.
I have Lineker above Rooney because of what Lineker did in major tournaments.
So for a 3-week spell, you're going to have Lineker?
Yes.
Are you saying you're going to put somebody over another because of what they did in major tournaments? Is that what you're saying, Dan?
What? Yes, on this instance, yes.
Okay, no problem.
He wouldn't know a footballer, Edward, were from a plank of wood. So somebody's recruiting these players.
Yeah, it was essentially coming from the Jurgen Klinsmann camp that I could not go into the room.
And the reason being?
Because apparently I was going to take all that information, turn right around, and give it to the Mexican national team.
Well, the trouble is, those two are Scottish. They hate everything English. That's your problem right there.
That is the problem.
That's been my highlight in my last few days.
What's wrong
How can you come to do a show dressed like this?
How can you not?
It's like you'd spilled something over your shirt at lunch.
Yes,
What are you talking about?
Are you a beach man?
Do I look like a beach
No, you don't. This is where this is
Ginger
going
hair,
down.
pasty Scottish person, loves the beach. I don't think so.
Jules, what's wrong with your hair today?
No. I don't know, it's the London weather.
The London weather.
And he's scared of sharks.
You won't go in the sea because
I won't go to sea. I don't like the water. Hate getting all the sand in my bean and everything in my sannies.
Yeah.
So now that's out.
Have you seen the state of this bloke? The rubbish that he works?
What do you mean? It's lovely.
That is a joke.
You got
I know what
there
it
as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what it, oh, it is?
Oh, that's what it is. It's the cat's blanket.
Is that what's wrong with this tackle, ladies
By the
and
way,
gentlemen? Nothing.
The cat's back in his house like that.
See, that's the problem with you lads.
Just get him on here.
Right, I'm insulted.
He quite likes it, actually. He likes that look, Marrows.
Does he?
Yep.
Ooh,
It
the
is
cat.
kinda-
I thought you were talking about the cat for a minute.
It is
Cat,
kind
when
of.
he come home, the cat was like, thanks.
I was cold.
It does tend to get a little cold here in studio sometimes. I can see why.
Not
he'd
that
wanna
cold.
wear
So you want to wear that then?
I don't think that would fit me.
I don't think
I'm
I've
more
ever.
of a
I don't think I've
medium.
ever felt that cold
Medium?
to wear that.
Medium.
Medium.
You're a small.
Yeah,
Come on.
You're a small.
And
Zeb.
small, huh?
I've been working out a little bit, so I feel like maybe I'm.
It's
Okay.
been a little bit. Yes,
Medium.
a
Okay.
little bit.
One of the
Okay,
best ones.
so you're a small.
Welcome into Extra Time. Craig, Shaka, Ale, Seb here with you.
No.
Julian,
No,
Laurent.
no. We can't do it like that.
No, we
You
can't.
got to bring something better than
Just
that.
a little bit more.
Yes. If you're just gonna get through it and not be professional enough to show the real energy, the best
Go on.
version of yourself.
You know it's in there. It wants to come out.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Extra Time. I'm Seb, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
yeah. Trying to be all cool all of a sudden.
Yeah, act like you've been there
You know,
before.
it's not "Hey there, buddy," right? It's "Hey there, everybody."
Oh, it's everybody.
Yes, it's just kind
It's
of
the energy
Yeah.
that just, mashes those words together.
I like hey buddy.
You do? Okay. Well, we'll work it in there on your request.
I'm sure you will.
All right.
tomorrow.
First question. Well, this isn't, well, I guess it's a question. It's a statement, too. Just watched FC Extra Time. Always brightens my day. Did I miss something regarding all the studio changing? Mama wants to know. We are in a new studio today.
Temporary. Yeah,
Temporary.
I don't know why we're in the last few days. I'm not sure. I haven't got the answer.
We've been in this studio before, haven't we?
We have been, and people should know that these decisions are made way ahead of time.
Right.
That we have nothing to do
Who
with
makes
it.
those decisions?
Far above our pay grade.
Yeah. Well, who does make these decisions? I do not know.
Questions that people want to know.
I thought it was Seb.
Hey, and you know the producer of this show that he's usually very active in our ears. He's very quiet
Yeah.
when it comes to this subject.
Really?
Saying
Yeah, that's
nothing.
right.
I'm not that.
If I pronounce a Dutch player's name wrong,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
I know. My ear, it's kind of, it's right here. That's strange. Do you like the new studio?
This one?
Yeah.
It's not new.
It's not
Well,
new. We've been here
today,
before.
New today.
You like this new old studio?
This does us out.
These chairs are a little bit better than the rigid ones we have in the other studio. Yeah,
It's a good backup.
a little more. Wiggle in the hips, as they say. Mateo wants to know, Shaka, how nice was it to catch Dan Thomas? Justify your reasoning for why Messi isn't the GOAT. You have an ally.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very good. Now he can't. We've got it on camera. It's on tape. He can't deny it ever again. And he doubled down on it later on.
What was he saying? Gary Lineker over Wayne?
It was a
Rooney, that
comparison
good?
between Lineker and Rooney because he chose Lineker because Lineker was better, had a better record at international level.
All right.
Yeah.
But
I was-
Messi's still the best.
Rooney's better than Lineker.
Oh, okay. That too.
Good way to sidestep it.
Thank you.
Hey, that's the way I do it, baby.
Next question from Shane. Do you anticipate any kind of move for Memphis Depay away from Lyon anytime soon? Let's go to Jules on this. He was great today against your French.
Yeah, you know, he wanted to live in the summer. That's why he came back late from his holidays. And there's that great scene after the last game of last season where his hat-trick against Nice qualified Lyon for the Champions League, and he's on French television with Jean-Michel Aulas, the Lyon owner and chairman. And Aulas tries to speak in English to Memphis and says to Memphis, "Oh, we love you and you're going to stay here forever." And then Memphis looks at the camera like this when Aulas said, "You're going to stay here forever." And Memphis goes like, "Oh, no, I'm not here forever at all. I think Memphis wants to go to a bigger club," and you can understand that. Maybe you need to sort his attitude a little bit more, but what he's been doing on the pitch when his mind is to it, like we saw tonight against France, and same with Lyon, when he really wants it, when his mindset is good, I have to say he's been incredible.
Certainly incredible today, huh?
How many questions we got?
Just a couple more.
It's Friday night in London.
You have somewhere to be?
It's Friday night. No, it's
I was
Friday.
going to ask for your...
It's Friday night in London.
Yeah.
It's late.
Yeah.
I think there's a man back there who's...
Jules, you got any plans
Wait,
tonight?
I think there's a man who's a bit on edge there. He's
getting ready to go out.
He's waiting to go and do a bit of clubbing.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well then let's move it along for Jules' sake.
Right, so I can tell. Oh, good body language.
Can you tell from the hair? Is the hairstyle ready?
Are you projecting on
That's
Julian?
That's what I was just thinking.
Exactly.
How do you make this about Julian? Well,
we've already heard what your plans are for the next half hour.
Somehow now it's Julian who was itching to get out.
Yeah. So all the pressure goes on Julian.
Well, you know, I'm just thinking about Julian here. I'm not thinking about myself at all.
Not at all.
Selfless. Greg Burley is what I
Because it's
would
not
say.
Friday. Apparently, it's not Friday night here. Either. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
It takes one to you know what.
Right. All right, well, let's get Jules.
Listen,
let's move the question.
I think living in London town, as I have for a long time, many years, I think living in London town is a bit easier to go out and let your hair down than it is where the little town where Ali and I live. Lovely little place, but after 8:45, it's a bit of a ghost town. So how the hell, how is it even possible that I go out?
You'll manage.
Yeah.
Right, come on.
Does your wife watch Extra Time?
Wow.
I don't think so, because when I got married, his first thought to me was, "You're already telling your wife the truth?" About 3 days. So I don't think his wife watches Extra Time.
My wife, I told you my wife's in South Africa.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
I don't imagine that's high up on our priority list at the moment.
Craig, this one I think is for
Unless
you.
she's checking in. I don't
What did it
yeah,
mean
I'm going to be
you?
having a quiet night tonight.
I'm going to try and fight through it. Samuel wants to know, what did it mean to you if your manager told you to, quote, let him know you're there within the first 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah, I actually answered this yesterday.
Oh.
Smashed them.
Going hard?
Smashed them.
Yeah.
Really?
But you can't really do it now. I remember playing a game when at Chelsea against Nottingham Forest when Dennis Wise was the little, you'll remember Dennis, was the little mouthy Londoner that played in our team and he was the captain, and Stuart Pearce, the former England left back, just tried to absolutely smash him out the ground every time at the start of the game, and you just knew it was coming. But these days he's just not going to get away with it.
Even if he got called for it, you wouldn't even get a booking if it was early on enough. But now, no, you can't get away with that.
Now, if Pierce goes after Wise, who went after Pierce? Because he didn't seem to be very stable, so...
Yeah, well, Piercy and Wise just, because they were at it in the tunnel usually before the game. And
She's a little bit of a nut as well. No,
that's why I'm asking.
I had a coach who told me once. I had a coach who looked at my boots and told me to. This is the old days when the studs were metal. He actually told me to go and put longer studs in because he wanted me to inflict some damage on a certain player during the game. I didn't do it. I was a younger player at the time. I was a little bit more. When I was more of a senior player, I told him to get stuff. But I was kind of a bit
shy,
inexperienced at the time.
Huh?
Inexperienced.
But you stood your ground and you didn't do it.
Well, I didn't quite agree with that kind of mindset.
Have you ever been sent out as a headhunter?
Who, Ali?
I don't even think they need to ask him to do it.
Have you met this man before?
What does that mean, Shaq?
Look at this sunny disposition. What do you
I don't know, this is all smile.
Let's be honest. If you want somebody to inflict damage on the football field, it's not Ali.
That's it.
It's not Ali.
That's it.
You want somebody to fall over if the breeze is
I'll do that
strong.
very well. I'll do that very well. Better than most, I tell you.
Yeah.
All this chit-chat's costing Jules.
I know.
It's costing him tequila slammers.
Yes,
You know?
it's all about Julian here. It's all about Julian.
Jules, you got like 3 kids at home. I know you're not going out clubbing, are you?
No, I'm not. You're right. Going to bed.
Wow. There was a little bit of that.
No.
No.
Well, yeah, okay.
I will.
Yeah.
And my wife watches Extra Time.
Wow, look at that. That is commitment to the cause.
So.
All right, well, that's all the time we've got for Extra
Hopefully
Time.
mine doesn't.
That's it? Extra time
That's
in
it?
South Africa.
There's another question, but I've been
Extra
told
time's been in South Africa.
to leave it.
Doesn't.
Leave it for the next.
Doesn't.
They usually
Time to
throw up
go?
a graphic and we talk about tomorrow's show.
I'm off tomorrow. That's
You're off tomorrow?
I'm off tomorrow as well.
You're off tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow.
It's just you.
Just me.
Who are you with tomorrow?
Well, none of you guys, apparently. Oh, Paul Mariner's in.
Oh, there you go.
With his sweatshirt or whatever he was wearing.
Yeah, you could borrow it.
We make it to then.